Hi there, I'm Kylie Mowbray Allen from Hello Media.
And I'm Jenny Walk from Elephant in the Room Consulting, and you're tuning into Bite Size Business Live Podcast, the show that helps business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business.
Whether you're launching, ready to scale, or figuring out what's next, we discuss the nitty-gritty, the hard bits, the opportunities, and the behind the scenes, and share how we've grown our own companies and helped others do the same.
We're glad you're here. Good morning, Kylie. How are you today? How is New Zealand treating you this week?
New Zealand's very beautiful today. And Jenny, I want to say congrats to us. Yo!
I know,
amazing. The Raw Success Awards on Friday night. You and I both unable to be there. Very, very tragic. And a gold trophy for us.
It's pretty amazing to be recognised for Podcast of the Year for the Raw Success Awards. It was a phenomenal event. I had a colleague of mine or a team member go along and attend and said that it was so much fun. So when this came up as us winning, it was amazing. And the wonderful Sue Walker, of course, was there to accept it on our behalf to have gold in this. But you won gold yourself in Wildcat.
I know, that's so special. I've had a bronze and a silver before in that category, but never a gold. It's my first gold Raw award, which is so awesome. And Jenny, you won awards too.
Yeah, so we got 2 bronzes and a silver this year. It was phenomenal. What was amazing though, and we're very, very blessed and pleased to have been winning to be recognised for the work that we do. But I attended the conference on Friday as well. And the beautiful women who I met there actually came gold or were the silver and gold winners in some of the same categories I was also in. So it was so wonderful to actually get to meet them and see some of those award winners and spend the day chatting all things business growth and business branding and also awards. It was such a great day. So all in all, a wonderful day, despite not being able to attend the actual amazing ceremony at the end.
Congrats to Stacey from Raw. She just does an amazing job, doesn't she? And I just love her energy.
Oh, I completely agree. And the pivot that she's done with the addition of the conference on the awards, I think is really clever. It's an opportunity to bring people together, to get us to have to chat and learn each other about our businesses. So even on the day, there were a couple of collaborations happening with the dozen or so business owners who are there. 2 beautiful business owners brought their partners who are just starting to join the business. So getting to understand a little bit about the back ends of work, of how we run our business and what success looks like, I think was a really great opportunity and a really lovely addition to the awards going forward, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I think that's exciting. And I just think that it was so, what can I say? The people that they presented, even though I wasn't there, I was reading up a lot about them in the lead up to it because, I thought I was going. And my goodness, they just looked amazing. Were those speakers just awesome, Jenny?
Oh, they were. Tali was phenomenal. Tali, I guess, because you and I like all things words, and Tani is a copywriter and does a lot of amazing copywriting work, and so it was really interesting to listen to her conversation and have her share kind of her framework and her model around content writing. I've been a follower of Marie Forleo for many, many years and done 1 or 2 of her programs, and so there's a real kind of great addition to having her talk about her experience both in Canada and here in Australia. Nick Hardcastle was just a delight listening to him and his journey and sharing his story around that personal branding piece. And you and I spoke a little bit about personal branding recently. So it was nice to hear his take on that and how the importance of that, particularly in a space that he's playing in, which, is quite a diverse industry, and grounding it back to kind of how that impacts us as business owners here in Australia or who are also working globally. So yes, so phenomenal. And Stacey, of course, shared a little bit. We did a really great priming session with Stacey at the start of the day, which really set the scene for a really wonderful day.
How awesome. I just think also that having that personal branding as part of that conference, because that's really where awards come into it, doesn't it? I know you and I are both similar in terms of the way we used to think about awards, the way we look at awards now, and we recognize that when you're nominated, to actually step forward into it and spend the time on that submission. I was chatting with a guy yesterday about it. I ran into him and he said, I just saw you won this award, blah, 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 congratulations. And I said, well, what I love the most is that whole submission process, because it really gives you a chance to really deep dive into, I value just as much as looking at the good stuff as I do looking at the challenges that I've had and what I did with those challenges and how I turned them around or didn't, or what I learned from them, etc. And sharing about that in my submission. So I just think it's such an important thing for all business owners to get involved with.
We had a conversation about that, whether you write them yourself, whether you get an agency or a copywriter to write awards for you. That was in one of the conversations that we had on the conference on Friday. And what I really liked about the discussion and my takeaway for that, and I guess my sharing of that, is that the process that you just described and going through, whether you do it, whether members of your team together, it's an opportunity to really deep dive and understand your business more. And I think a lot of people, and I understand that if you're not really great at writing or you're not really sure about, whether you're going to write and, be able to put your best foot forward in your writing skills, taking the time to even collect that data and do that reflection even before you hand it over to a professional copywriter or bid writer, I think is really important, because getting that information together, getting your team involved, allows you as a team to reflect on the successes and the challenges you've had, and actually allows you to understand your business so much stronger. And in doing so, it means that you can make sure that your value proposition is aligned, you can make sure your pricing is aligned, you can make sure your branding is on point, and all those conversations that fall out of something as simple as the Raw Success Awards nominations means that you have a better understanding of your business. Now, whether you choose to write your actual submission or not, that process of collecting that data to start with and having that engagement with your team, I think is something that every team should do at least once a year. And as I said, so even if you don't want to actually go in and write yourself, or even submit an application at the end for the awards, do the process of the award process, because it really allows you to reflect and reignite some engagement in your business, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's a few awards coming up at the moment that you need to get your submissions in. I can't remember if it's any nominations yet or your submissions yet, but there's a couple out there, and it's definitely worth looking into and getting into it, because what a game changer. And for you as an award winner, and for me as an award winner, and our podcast as an award winner, what a difference it makes, even just being able to put that lovely badge on it, or on your signature on your emails or something. It just adds a little extra something.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think from a branding perspective, but even just to, if you're working in a space like you and I are doing, where thought leadership and what we're doing is, how we actually show up in the world is critical to not only our brand, but our success. Being part of awards and being recognised, whether you're first, second or third in the award, or get in that process. And particularly, Women Changing the World Awards, which had 3,000 plus nominations, in any of those, to become a finalist in any of those awards demonstrates that you're sitting up there, amongst some of the best in the world. And that's what your clients are looking for, right? They're looking to work with people who have innovation, understanding, adapt to the market, but also are world-class in their field. So definitely awards allow you to recognise to that space. And in fact, it aligns to the conversation we're having today, which is around our business vision. And I'm mindful of time, and we could talk about awards all day, but I really am excited about this topic, because when we're talking about, how we show up as a business, it comes down to our business vision. And those who've been to my website know that I say clarity is the answer to everything. And that really does start with a business vision.
I couldn't agree more. And I really agree with you that the awards piece does make such a big difference to looking at your business vision and where you're headed. But chat with me a little bit, Jenny, about how when you first start working with a brand new client, how do you approach the business vision with them? Because so often I find that people don't have clarity around what it is they do and what it is they're offering.
No, I completely agree. And I think the key piece of this, when we're talking about it, is understanding that your business vision is everyone needs to start with a clear vision. And every successful business really has started with a clear vision of what they're trying to achieve. So that might be their clarity of purpose, their long-term goals, importantly, their values. But the idea of a vision is really around to ground the organization, to inspire and motivate your employees, to attract your customers, but also it's a differentiation. It allows you to actually be really clear about where you stand in the market and how you're showing up. So having that to start with, and starting with a very clear purpose about what you're doing, allows you to drive your decisions and your behaviors. And fundamentally, I look at a vision, whether it's vision or mission, and I know they're interchangeable, we won't go into that today. But when we have that really clear robust vision, it allows us to say, are the actions that we're taking, is the work that we're doing, are the clients we're attracting, is it moving us towards that vision? Is it actually enabling us to achieve that vision? Or are these things that I'm playing with actually pulling me away from? So you often hear it talked about as your compass or your North Star. And really what it's saying is everything you do, behaviors, actions, the work you get, the clients you have, really should be moving you towards that vision. So I use it as a bit of a decision-making tool. And it's a really great way if you have lots of opportunities or you're unsure about opportunities to decide, should I do it or not? Well, if it aligns with your vision and your values and your purpose, then the answer should be yes. And then the question is, how do we do it, right? But yeah, so I use it very much as a decision-making tool, because really a vision is around shaping your business strategy, right? You've got clear goals. You've got a clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve. So then it allows you to say, do I have the right resources? Do I have the right tools and technology? Do I have the right systems in place to enable me to do that? So the vision is almost an enabler for your business strategy.
And what's so tricky is that your systems and your tools are going to be evolving all the time. Because 4 years ago, I was teaching masterclasses in ManyChat, for example, so AI, but not a lot of people knew about it. Then we would show how you could create this incredible flow, and people were like, whoa, now AI is just in everybody's everyday language.
Yeah,
So making sure that we're evolving with that.
it's such an important thing, and we don't think it. And I know people are scared of change, and change means uncertainty. And oh my gosh, if I change it, will I throw the baby out with the bathwater? Will it not work? But adaptability and innovation matter in business. And I think if we just think about that, don't think about change, don't think about kind of reinventing the wheel, but you need to be adaptable and you need to be innovative in your business, because it allows you to respond to the market. And that is a cornerstone. It is a key element of any core business, any successful business, is being able to pivot and adapt. As you did, when COVID hit, we've talked about it many times, you went from face-to-face coaching, not all the time, but a large portion of business was that face-to-face coaching, and you pivoted to be an online business. You needed to survive and thrive during the COVID period, where we weren't able to see our clients face-to-face, and we were trying to still support businesses reach their goals and get clarity of purpose through that time, right? So when you're adaptable and innovative in your business, and your vision has to replicate that as well. So looking at market changes, is your vision still aligned with what the market wants, and your purpose, is it still allowing you to kind of enabling you to do those things? Has technology changed the way your purpose as a business, or the way that you deliver your business? Do your customers even want you anymore, right? You have to really reflect, and we've talked about that so many times, about checking in with our customers, but we don't often connect that with our vision. We just say, oh, well, our customer base has changed, or the needs and requirements of our customers have changed, so let's pivot to them. But how does that impact your vision? How does that impact your business culture, the way that you operate and what you're trying to achieve? And they're all housed in your vision. Remember, we said your vision was around your clarity of purpose, your goals, your core values, and the long-term goals of your business and your core values. If you've got those three things, you change your customers, how does that impact those? You change your product mix, how does that impact those? You change the way you market, how does that impact and align with your purpose, your goals, and your values? And a really great example for that, to me, I think, is TikTok. There are a number of people on TikTok, we've talked about it before, but there are those who say, TikTok is not my space. I don't care how good it's going to be for my business, but I'm actually making a judgment, a choice to not be on that platform, as a lot of people do on X and a lot of other platforms, right? It's been a choice they've made because it doesn't align with their business values or their goals or their purpose. So that's where the vision becomes that true cornerstone, that, the compass, that guiding light for your business. And we all have that external drivers, right? But we also have to look internally to look at adaptability and innovation. If our sales are going down, if our staff are unhappy, if we've got massive turnover, if our business is stagnating and we're not getting clients repeat, why not? What is the misconnect? What does it go back to? Purpose, values, and vision. That's where we sit. What are our goals? And if there's a misalignment along the way, we feel it through our customers and the products we sell and our success in the revenue area, right? But that is underpinned by a really clear understanding of who we are, and and drives our culture, it drives our behaviors. And that's what I think is critical about a vision.
I love that you've reminded us all about that, because it is so important. Anything that's not going really well in your business, to stop and take stock and look at it and bring it back to the very core of what you do, getting clarity again. It's just so important.
And I think it's also looking at it's being okay and giving yourself permission to say no, as well as permission to say yes, right? So we've been looking at wanting to pivot, and we're still in that kind of ebbs and flows of whether we're going to build an entry-level online course for clients who don't want to come to Empire Builders for 3 days, but just want to get a feel of how we train. And so building an online portal and online space for people to come to, we're still sitting going, does it align with us? Because we like deeply human, high-touch programs. And an online course is fundamentally the opposite of that, right? It might be deeply human, but it's not high touch. So how do we align that with our values and our purpose and our vision? And so we're still playing in that space. We've half developed it, and we're looking at what does that offering look like for us to enable us to serve those customers not ready to jump into 3 days, but are still going to give them that value and that impact that we want to have. That's part of our core purpose and vision, right? And so I think the vision piece allows us to also reflect, to say, how is it creating a space for our team to be, to be innovative themselves? Do we have space for them to be creative, to take risks? A really clear, defined vision says what you can say yes to and what you can say no to. So it gives that permission that many organizations are seeking for to play in within their business.
Oh, I totally agree with you there. So what about, they've come to you then, you've got really clear on it. What happens next? How do you keep them on track?
I think really great question. And really it comes down to a regular check-in. I think as part of your general business planning, we often do business strategy or market strategy planning. We respond to metrics. We have a look and say, well, how's our marketing and sales going compared to what we're doing? But I think as part of your annual, at least annual, if not more often, review of your business, it's sitting down saying, is our vision still where we want it to be? Is it still pointing in the direction that our business has gone? Or have we pivoted? Are we moving somewhere else? So I think it's every time you make a change in your business, every single time, it's whether you change your customer base, whether you add a new product to market, whether you change your pricing, asking yourself, does it still align with that kind of compass and that North Star? And if the answer is no, then the question we have to ask is the vision outdated? Or is what we're doing actually pulling us away from where we want to go? So that conversation about when do you review it, how do you review it, it's every time you're making a significant or new change in your business that's going to impact the way and who do you sell to. So that's market, that's customers, that's pricing, that's even marketing strategy. So when you're making significant changes in each of those things, taking stock and saying, is it aligning with what we're trying to achieve? Is it taking us towards that? Or in fact, is it pulling us away from? And do we need to pivot either the business or do we need to pivot the vision? Because both of those, they can be done separate, but when you're aligned in those things and we're continuing to work on the same space, that's where you get that kind of beautiful flow of a business. That's where you get everything humming together, because everything is aligned from your vision to your goals, to your values, to your product, to your marketing, to your team and your culture. And when they're all aligned, that's where you see that really thriving, successful business.
Oh, I love that. I think you've said it absolutely brilliantly. And so often I see people coming to me and saying, look, I'm doing all the things. I'm posting on socials every day. But when you actually look at what they're doing, it's not aligned with their business. And so therefore, it's not clear to the people that they're, as their ideal audience. And so it turns them off rather than gets them excited about what they're offering.
And a great example, in fact, we talked about this on Friday at the conference, we're talking about sub-brands that people have. So we have Elephant in the Room Consulting, obviously our core brand, it's our core business, but we also have Empire Builders. And so one of the reflections my business has been making, and I'm happy to share, is that we recognize that Empire Builders are not the same audience who come to us at Elephant in the Room Consulting for our corporate strategies. So we're actually in the process at the moment, and we're going through this right now to reflect on how do we build Empire Builders almost as its own brand. It's always going to sit as a sub business to Elephant in the Room, which is the corporate and the company. But how do we build Empire Builders with its own kind of soul, its own vision, its own mission, because it's slightly different to what we're trying to achieve in our corporate space. And that's an example of when us reviewing our vision for Elephant in the Room Consulting hasn't changed. but we've developed a new vision in a slightly different way for a completely new market for empire builders and for entrepreneurs and business owners wanting to build and grow their business. And so that's different to, you know, a multinational wanting to develop into Indigenous engagement strategies and corporate strategies and culture and team building and leadership. It's a different market. So it's an example of where it can come out of, without even realizing it, you develop something that's successful, and it pulls you towards creating a new brand for your business or a sub brand. So you have to start thinking about, how does that impact? So I think it's so critical to be doing it to regularly, because then, to your point, your customers then know who you are. They'll go to Empire Builders on Instagram and they'll be able to find and see stuff that resonates with them and not be muddled with this corporate conversation at the same time as entrepreneurs, right? And that's what we've reflected on the last 6 months, is we've started to realize that we're trying to serve two markets with a single Instagram or single social posts, and that's not going to work for us. So there's an example of how we do that. We have to be adaptable. We have to look at different ways to meet our clients, or we decide one or the other are no longer aligned with us and we close it down. We don't want to do that, so we have to pivot.
Just so well said. And I think it's the same for many, Jenny, where you start doing one thing, but your passion project is Empire Builders, for example, but then figuring out if they're not the same audience. So I look forward to seeing all that evolve for you. That's super exciting.
And so, Kylie, with your, I'd be really keen in terms of the vision you're doing. You made that giant pivot, or not giant, but you made the pivot to go fully online. How did that impact your vision a couple of years ago for your business? Did that take you time to reflect to see how you're delivering and the way that you kind of structure your business?
Yes, but luckily, I was incredibly fortunate at the time that everybody realized that they needed to be online. And so I feel like it was less of a hard sell. So I also put a lot of free stuff out there to people to come and try it out, which worked really well for me. But I think prior to that, getting people to, and I'm not talking all people, just some, but getting people to understand the value of a really great website, getting people to understand the value of really strong socials and really, really strong branding, for example. There's a lot of people that just couldn't see the value. They're just tickety-booing along in their business, making their money, and they're happy. But then all of a sudden to realize through that pandemic, if I don't actually have it online, what have I got right now?
Yeah.
So that was a gold turning point for me to be able to really step in at that moment, which was a great thing.
And what I love, and I guess my final point when we're talking about this, and this is what you did so beautifully in that pivot, and also with some of the new products that you're developing, is you've maintained consistency in the business, right? It's not throwing the baby out of the bathwater. It's not going, oh my God, the vision and the values don't align, let's start again. It's actually saying, how is what we're doing continuing to support that, but how may it need to evolve? And the simple value for you was that spending face-to-face time over Zoom had greater value to you, your family, and your business and your clients than you having to spend half the time traveling, right? And so that aligned with your core values, your need to be with your family. But it didn't change. You didn't throw out your branding. You didn't create a whole new thing. You just recognized that this pivot actually really aligned well with the core values of your business. So that consistency is still critical. It's not about saying every time we adapt and change, we actually then completely rewrite our vision or completely rewrite our values or goals. It's simply saying we just need to be mindful that what we're doing may impact that vision, may impact our goals, but is it still going to be aligned with our ethos and the way that we work? And for you, that was a really beautiful example of that consistency, because as you said, nothing really changed. It was just the delivery methodology that changed. So then the shift was educating the market about why that's valuable also for them.
And it's very, very interesting talking to some of the companies that I've presented for years. And initially it was just in person. And then of course they too had to pivot. And it's so interesting now seeing when they put things out in person and they put things out online, both of them are still getting really good, solid signups. So people haven't gone back to saying, I only want to do in person now. But they also haven't said, I only want to do online now. So it's a really nice hybrid if you can offer it and have a bit of both.
Yeah, and that's what I find we do. I mean, our coaching clients, a lot of our coaching clients are online in this, and we do Zoom calls, but a majority of our consulting is face-to-face. But we've also delivered some consulting work through, Zoom workshops and hybrid workshops in that way as well, because again, we had to pivot and learn how to deliver that. So I think and you taught us a lot of that way back when we very first met, 2019, around that engagement and that importance of having that consistency in your branding and consistency of your engagement, which really did align with how we wanted to show up. So good. I love this conversation around vision. I can probably talk all day about it. For those guys, I think the key takeaway for you is you don't want to be changing it every day, but you want to be reviewing it at least once or twice a year. And if there's any major market shifts in your business or in the way that you're operating, that's an opportunity time to sit down and say, is our vision still aligned? Is it still where we want to go? And does it still align with our ethos and the way we like to work? If you answer yes to those questions, your vision's going to it will serve you into the future. And if there's a mindful look, I'm not sure, then take stock, sit down and redo your vision. You may come out with the same words, but at least then you know that it's current and it's serving you in that moment rather than, not being aware of that.
Yeah, brilliantly said. Great reminder and great advice as always, Jenny. Thank you so much.
Well, it's been wonderful chatting. And for those, I want to also just do a shout out before we finish in terms of vision alignment, to all the other amazing award winners for Raw Success on Friday. Congratulations. Such a beautiful pool of, incredible business owners in the room and, at the conference sharing, a little bit about their vision and their mission and what they're trying to achieve. And what those awards demonstrated to me was the importance of having clarity around your vision and your purpose. And if you have that, everything else will fall into place, right? When you know where you're going, when you know what that compass is pointing to, everything else will fall into place for you. Then you just need to do the work later. But that's the fun part of owning a business.
Love it. Totally agree. Love it. Thank you.
So Kylie, where can people see all your amazing, success from the Raw Success Awards and also learn more about what you do?
Head to hellomedia.team online and you can find all the good stuff there. And that just reminded me, Jenny, it's time to update my footer with the little, what do you call them, little badges in there. I love that bit. That's really special. How can people get in touch with you?
elephantintheroomaau.com is our website. You can find us through there. Otherwise, go to our socials, Elephant in the Room AU, on all the social platforms and connect with us through our DMs there.
Awesome.
Kylie, so great to chat to you again. We look forward to seeing you next Monday. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in to this episode of Bite Size Business Life Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us so you don't miss any episodes. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Have a great week. Bye now.
Bye-bye.